Hey everyone, this is Ryan from Blocks of Finance, and today we're looking at the Polkastarter IDO platform and how I personally approach these IDOs and what to do when they get listed and what my strategy is for accumulating the projects that launch on Polkastarter and other similar platforms. There's a few of these launch pads right now doing a lot of the same things. And we're going to have a look at some that have launched recently, how the launches went, and kind of what would have been a good strategy for accumulating and things like that. So first of all, if you're not familiar with Polkastarter, super quick intro. Basically, it's a fundraising platform where newly launched protocols can raise funds from a whole bunch of different investors in a decentralized way. Where each investor can put in a little bit of money in order to get some tokens before they're released to the public, generally at a much lower price than what they're going to be listed at, and kind of basically crowdsourcing the investment to get the platform off the ground. Now, I've done a few of these. I'm a big fan of Polkastarter. I don't own a huge amount of their own token, the POLK token. I own, enough to get into the IDOs, plus a little bit more, but not a huge amount. But I do like what they're doing, and I do like a lot of the projects that launch on their platform, which is mainly why I hold their tokens. Now, in order to actually get access to the ability to purchase early, to get an allocation, you do need to have a certain amount of Polkastarter tokens. Now, whether I get that allocation or not, whether I get into what's called the whitelisting process, where a certain amount of people are put on a whitelist, basically drawn randomly. You don't have a very high chance usually of getting on the list to be a buyer of the early tokens, because there's usually such a good deal and there's so many people going for it. But for me, whether I get in or not doesn't make a massive amount of difference. And the reason for that is because generally, even if you get in, you're not going to be able to the allocation that you get is pretty small. It's generally going to be a few $100s, under $1,000 at least. So if we have a look at these platforms, these are some upcoming ones. So if you look at how much they're looking to raise, we've got 100K, 25K, 100, 125, some slightly bigger ones, 250 and 400K. Like 400K is pretty big for this platform. So if you think about that, if you have, let's just say the average is 100K, if you want to put even $1,000 in, that's 1% of the entire pool, like just to you. And there's a lot of people trying to get in on this, and they're trying to spread the fundraising around so that a lot of people get to take part and get the opportunity through like a lottery system. So a lot of times, if you're getting in, you're not getting even 1%, 2% of the allocation. You might be getting, say for $100,000 raise, you might be able to put in, $200, $300, $400 or something like that. So even if you get in early and get the really good price, then you don't have a big investment in there. So if I see something on Polkastarter that I really like, if I think is great, sometimes I'm going to want to put in more than $300, $400. And through the whitelisting process, I'm not going to be able to do that. So what this means is that on the launch day, after the early access tokens have been distributed to all the people that got in on the whitelist, just before that happens, the project will usually list on Uniswap, which is obviously the largest decentralized exchange. And then from that point forward, all of the buying and selling will go on Uniswap. And the reason that I wanted to put this video together is that when I see these things launching on the launch day, you see people in the Telegram groups trying to buy as soon as a thing launches on Uniswap. There's huge volatility. The price is going up and down everywhere. It's pumping and dumping. There's all kinds of bots involved. And a lot of people are really getting burned. And they're trying to buy immediately on the listing. And they just ended up buying at a really crazy high price. Then it immediately crashes and they lose hundreds or thousands of dollars or whatever. So I want to have a look at some recent launches, go through the price action, and what my strategy basically is for trying to accumulate these projects. Because like I said, even if I get on the whitelist, if it's something that I like, generally I'm going to be wanting to buy more than is available through the whitelisting process. So we're going to have a look at some examples of some recent IDOs that have gone on Polkastarter, what happened when they went onto Uniswap, and what the price did, and things like that. So here we have, this is OptionRoom. This is one that I did not get in on, but it's a project that I really like the idea of. And what we see here, this is a 4-hour chart. Let's just blow this up a bit. This is a 4-hour chart, basically from the day it listed, which was, a couple of weeks ago up until today. And this is for me, this is a classic chart that really kind of sums up what happens when one of these Polkastarter projects lists on Uniswap. So we have the initial listing price, which is usually pretty low. It's usually, a lot of the time it's, under 10, 20 cents. A lot of time the projects are only launching at a couple of $100,000 market cap, like below $1 million, or at max, like, a couple of million market cap. So people think, oh, great, if I can get it in here, if I can get in at like 50 cents, I'll get in at, I don't know, whatever it is, $600,000 market cap. That's just a guess. I don't know what it actually was. But if I can get in there, I'll make a huge amount on my investment. And they're trying to buy immediately on the launch, like 5-10 minutes in, or even as soon as it's listed. But what's happening in this candle here? It's so crazy. The price is up and down everywhere. You got bots trying to front run people. The Ethereum speed and gas fees just make it impossible to get in when you actually want to get in. And a lot of time people just end up getting burnt, as I say. So what I tend to do is I wait for this this huge initial candle. So this is a 4-hour chart. Let's go down to the 1-hour chart. So you can see the first hour, the first 2 hours after it lists is crazy. It goes all the way from the listing price all the way up to almost $5, so like almost a 50x, and it comes all the way back down. It hits a low of 128, and then it bounces around and then finds some kind of equilibrium over the rest of the day and into the next day. Okay, and like I said, this is a classic thing that you're going to see with these launches. Now, if we go back and see what it's done since then, it's generally kind of crept up since then, kind of gradually, swinging a lot. Obviously, it's a new project. The last day or two, it's going to come down with everything because the market's got hit pretty hard the last couple of days. But generally, we have, somewhat of an uptrend. But my point is, generally, this is what you're going to see on day one. So really, what I'm looking for somewhere around a 50% retracement off of that initial candle that just goes crazy. So first couple of hours, whether you're looking at the hourly chart or a 4-hour chart or whatever, you're going to have 1 or 2 huge candles. You're going to have a huge spike, and then you're going to see a big retracement. I find that for the most part, it comes down to about the 50% level. It might be just above, it might be below, sometimes it's a lot below. But for me personally, I'm happy if I can get in, somewhere around a 50% retracement off this initial kind of blast off and just huge sell-off and things like that. And like I said, the reason that this happens, you have, loads of bots trying to gain people on this initial launch. Usually after the Uniswap listing, an hour or a couple of hours later that same day, all of the early access buyers that were on the whitelist, they are then given their tokens. Some of those people want to sell. Some people aren't in it for the long term. They're just trying to get in at something with a $500,000 market cap. And if they can sell it the same day for a 10x, then great, that's what they're looking to do, and that's it. They don't care about the project. And that is often the case. A lot of times these will go 10, 20x or more on the first day. So there's a lot of people just waiting to dump those initial waitlist tokens that they purchase very cheaply. And that's fine. Like, that's not what I do, but we want that to happen because those people give us the opportunity to get into, what we think is a really good project at, a really good price that we would not get if all of the early access buyers just held and didn't sell. Okay, so that's generally why we see that. So this is OptionRoom. This is pretty standard. The next one is Bridge Mutual, and again we're going to see something pretty similar. let's go down to the 4-hour chart. And again, you'll see on day one, what we got, a couple of parabolic candles, just obviously excitement from the initial listing. Then we got this huge blow off top, a massive retracement. And then again, this is roughly a 50% retracement from the top. It's not quite 50%, but it almost got there. But the pattern is generally the same. So once we've seen this, huge kind of rapid sell-off over the course of 1 or 2 hours or whatever it might be, comes down here, finds some stability at roughly the 50%. And when I say 50%, I mean the listing price to the absolute top of the crazy candle, and it settles somewhere around 50% of that. Sometimes it will go lower, and if it goes lower, great. But when it gets to about 50%, that's where I am personally looking to take my first position, regardless of whether I got into the whitelist or not. And obviously, I'm not telling you to do that. I'm telling you that's what I do for the projects that I think are good. This isn't something that you can just do. It's not a foolproof system for every IDO launch. This is what I personally look for. It fits my risk profile for the projects that I think are good, and I definitely don't get into all of these. I actually only go into a few. So, decide what you want to do, but that's what I do. So again, pretty similar to the OptionRoom launch. This is Bridge Mutual, and you can see after this, it's actually done pretty well. It's had another big run up, and then we've kind of consolidated, and then it's got hit again over the last few days because everything has. But generally, you're doing pretty well if you got in here. The next one is going to be Paid, which had quite a lot of hype around, and again, I didn't get in, which is not really a problem. It's always nice to get in, but if I don't get in, then no worries. So let's go to the chart. So we're on the 4-hour chart here, and you can see basically exactly the same. The initial, let's make this a bit clearer. The initial launch, let's go down to the 1 hour so we can see a bit more of this. The initial launch, basically, huge crazy candle, absolutely not getting involved in here, no idea what's going to happen. It's going to be crazy trying to do a transaction. Wouldn't touch this with a barge pole. So you see this huge candle, huge blow off, massive retracement. Early access people get to come in it somewhere in here, and some of them are dumping. And again, we're roughly about 50%. Then we get this nice consolidation at roughly 50% of the height of this candle, up and down for a day or two, something like that. So you're not in a rush. You have a day or two to accumulate at this level. Again, it's roughly the 50% level. And after that, we go back to the 4-hour chart. We can see it's done. It's really done great. And this has been a great project. It's fallen off the last couple of days, not just because obviously Bitcoin went down and brought everything down with it. They actually did quite a big token release at some point in this period, so that's probably what this spike down is. So I think a lot of people knew that was coming, and there's been some selling off. But generally this project has done great since the launch, and if you're able to get in at roughly 50% then of the initial pump candle, then you've really been doing great. Now I want to have a look at some that actually just released this week. So this is played out perfectly, really, for two really big launches that have gone on this week. One a couple of days ago and one today. So this is Super Farm. Here we're on the 30-minute chart. So you can see this only launched on the 22nd. Today's the 24th, so it's 2 days old, basically, less than. And you can see exactly the same as what we've been looking at. Huge initial candle, we're on the 30-minute chart, so it's spread over a couple of candles. First 3 candles are just insane. But again, what has it done? It's basically consolidated at around about the 50% mark on this huge initial pump. So if we go to the 1-hour chart, a little bit clearer, you can see we're about in the middle, and this is where a lot of people are accumulating. Now, obviously, this one is only a couple of days old. The sentiment in the market is pretty negative right now, not around this project, but just around the market in general. So I don't know what's going to happen here. This might fall off. It might go down more. But if this was one that I was looking to buy, then I would be happy at the roughly 50% of the initial pump. This is where I would be like, okay, I'm gonna make my first buy here. If it goes up, great. If it goes down, and obviously I still believe in it, then I can get more at a better price. But this is basically where I would be looking to take a position. I didn't take a position in Superfarm. I think it's great, probably gonna do well. Not something that I'm massively interested in, but personally, I like to invest in things that I am very, very interested in, but I've heard good things about it, and I'm sure it will end up doing well. But we'll see, and look into it, see if you like it, see if it's for you, see if it fits your risk profile, and make your own decision about whether it's good for you. Last one is one I did get in today, and this is one I am really excited about and definitely fits my interest. And you can see again, like I'm not cherry picking these. These are just the last two that have launched. So Superfarm was on the 22nd, which was Monday. It's now Wednesday. Polka Markets was today, okay, February the 24th. So these are just the last two that have launched on Polkastarter, and we see the same pattern over and over, okay? So this is a 30-minute chart. You can see this one had a lot of hype. There was a lot of hype around Polka Markets. I think they had a huge Telegram group, still do. Before the launch, people were really, really looking forward to this coming out, me included. There's a lot of expectation about what this is going to do, okay? So you can see, the lowest listing price the lowest price we can see on here is about 25 cents. It went all the way up to $9.25. So, just a parabolic, just absolute craziness for the first few hours. And I've seen some people in the group, in the Telegram group, they really got burned on this. They didn't really understand what they were doing, I don't think, and tried to buy somewhere in this absolute carnage in the first couple hours. And I think they got hurt, unfortunately. Now I basically bought into this one at, where are we? I was about 250, 260, I think, somewhere like that. So, I took my first position in Polka Markets today. I think it's great. It might stabilize here and then slowly climb. It might actually come down. Obviously, we're in a pretty negative market at the moment, just the last few days. If it does come down, not that I want the project to lose value, but I will personally be pleased because I will be buying more at a lower price because I really like what these guys are trying to do. So again, another pattern that pretty much follows perfectly what we very often see with the Polkastarter IDO launch patterns, what happens in the first couple of days and weeks. So I hope that was helpful. Definitely check out Polkastarter IDOs if you haven't. Always research the projects that you're looking to get into, all right? This isn't something you just buy everyone and use this strategy. Like, that's not gonna work. I'm looking to buy the ones that I like the fundamentals of, and this is just how I get what I feel is a pretty decent price without just getting chopped to death in all of this nonsense here, okay? So that's what I do. Please like the video if you enjoyed this, leave me a comment below, subscribe to the channel if you want to see more. All of that stuff really, really helps. And yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.